Yeah.
Very good. So we're all good so far. Some things that are not really, in your memory of what was said, but you did walk her to her car. When Denise walked in, and I think she's saying that after she returned from the after you returned from the conversation with Debbie, when Denise walked in, she let Pete and his wife know she had exonerated Pete. Did you say those words?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Hmm.
No,
I mean,
no, it was that,
how would
yeah,
one exonerate something so serious in one session?
yes. No, and see, the problem was that it was a long session because Debbie would ask questions and then Rachel would answer them. And so Debbie kept trying to have questions that Pete would engage in, but that didn't happen. And so that was the conversation when we went to the car. She said, I wasn't even able to do a thorough investigation, assessment. She said, because he didn't really answer one question himself. She answered them all. So she said, I can't do anything.
Okay.
So now when I went back in to the house, of course, they were very stressed because, oh, what's this going to mean? What's this going to mean? And so I was just trying to really, I, I was concerned for them, and because no, there's no closure here at all, and I was in a sense trying to just say to them, I know this is hard, but you've got to realize that there's going to have to be another or maybe two more of these in order to get this settled. And I was just trying to kind of bring a awareness to them that this wasn't all there was. I mean, they're all upset over, of course it's stressful over what they had just gone through, but it wasn't the end by no means.
Hmm.
Mm-mm, no.
Very good. And we'll go back to her, Rachel's analysis of these events. When Denise walked in, she let the Pete and his wife know that they were exonerated, and you absolutely say that word was not used, and you did not do that. So Pete and his wife were glad to hear it. She couldn't wait to put all of this behind them. Pete's wife immediately texted Marcus saying, the child, which he responded, fantastic. I think that text is, and we'll try to get these better texts, I think, put up here, which he responded, fantastic. Pete's wife replied saying she's got a ton of degrees, lots of experience. Marcus responded, excellent. I know that is such a relief for both of you to have that kind of validation. To which Pete's wife replies, saying, so now we have done literally everything everyone has asked. It's a relief. But we were both confident in the outcome because there is nothing to hide. Then Marcus replied, saying, I agree. Just don't contact the other four about it, as of course Denise needs to be your defender. References about it on social media. Marcus knew in order for the family to accept these findings, they could only be communicated by Denise and not anyone else. And so you wouldn't know what Marcus said, but it
Yeah,
is fair for you to speak to the fact that you were a very trusted member of the Lamb
right,
family who loved them,
right.
and Marcus
Absolutely.
trusted you.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Of course, we know the wife was very upset, and that's why she was anxious and answering questions in the session. But I had no idea that by me trying to kind of calm them down a little bit and tell them what's to come, that she was, I guess, thinking, oh, everything's okay, and then she goes and texts Marcus, I had no idea she'd text Marcus. I had no idea that she had text. And even when they were ready to leave, I stood there with both of them and I said, now, you know, nothing was settled here. Nothing. So I even said it again. So I had no idea that the text had been sent, actually, until I read this.
Right. You didn't know about any of that.
Yeah, I didn't know. And so so here's where the cover up is. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the cover up. So takes it on herself to say everything's clear.
Miss Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were here last, you told me that 3 times, I believe, Pete kept coming to you to say, can you clear me? Why would Pete keep asking you that if he'd been exonerated?
Yeah, I know. That's right. I know. He wasn't exonerated. So that's why he would ask me again and again. And I kept saying, Pete, I can't. You have to come back and you have to meet with Miss Debbie Linhart because she's the licensed professional counselor. I'm not. And you know, and he even said, well, if you put it on a professional letterhead, it'll count, won't it? I said, no, I can't. No, that won't work. I'm not licensed. No. And so
he actually said that,
well,
Miss
I'm not
Denise?
coming back.
He said, but if you put it on professional letterhead, this could work, which would be a complete lie. He was asking you to participate in a deception, would you say?
Right, right. And, you know, I know. I know.
That would just be my thoughts.
So then I was going to say one more thing, and I just dropped it. But I told him I couldn't do that. Oh, and so I said, you will have to come back. And he said, no, that was grueling. And I'm not going back into that another grueling session like that.
Both Pete and his wife answered thoroughly and candidly, demonstrating their full cooperation and commitment to addressing this matter professionally. In the meeting, Debbie said none of this would hold up in a court of law, and it was her conclusion that this was nothing more than a big family mess, fueled by years of jealousy, competition, and lack of relationship. After hours of meeting, Denise walked Debbie to her car where they had a conversation. When Denise walked in, she let Pete and his wife know she had exonerated Pete. Pete and his wife were glad to hear it and couldn't wait to put all of this behind them. Pete's wife immediately texted Marcus saying, the child psychologist cleared Pete, to which he responded, fantastic. Pete's wife replied saying, she's got a ton of degrees and lots of experience. Marcus responded, excellent. I know that is such a relief for both of you to have that kind of validation. To which Pete's wife replies saying, so now we have done literally everything everyone has asked. It's a relief, but we were both confident in the outcome because there is nothing to hide. Then Marcus replied saying, I agree. Just don't contact the other 4 about it, as of course Denise needs to be your defender and God. And don't post veiled references about it on social media. Marcus knew in order for the family to accept these findings, they could only be communicated by Denise, not anyone else. Marcus's text with Pete's wife. Pete asked Denise if they could obtain Debbie's findings in writing so they would have something to present her professional opinion, and Debbie agreed to do so. In the meantime, Denise was able to share with Jonathan and Susie the counselor's findings, and after that, Marcus and Joni planned for Denise to